Hey guys, so today we are taking a little bit of a detour from my usual makeup content, and we're talking about something that I know many of you deal with regularly, and that is periods. Yes, I feel like periods should not, well, I don't feel like periods should not be a taboo subject at all. It's something that at least half the population deals with, and also none of us would be here if periods didn't exist. So I feel like we should talk about them openly. And over the past few years, I've been working towards having a more environmentally friendly period and trying to incorporate more reusable period products into my routine. Actually, you might not know this, but one of my most viewed videos on my channel is from a few years ago, and it's all about my experience with reusable period products. In that video, I talked about the menstrual cup, I talked about cloth pads, and reusable period underwear as well. So I'll link that video below if you want to hear what my thoughts were back then. I think that video is like 3 years old at this point, and I have to be honest, since then I did fall off the wagon a little bit with reusable period products. At one point I did have almost an exclusively zero waste period routine. I was pretty much exclusively using a menstrual cup and Thinx period underwear, but when I got my IUD was when I started to just fall back on disposables for a while, because the thing with IUDs, I do love my IUD, by the way. I have the copper one. It's amazing. Like 10 out of 10, love it. But one thing about IUDs is that you're not really supposed to use a menstrual cup with them. My doctor did advise against using that. She said that tampons are fine. So once I got my IUD and as I was adjusting to it, I just went back to using disposable tampons, just the usual kind. I just got the kind without the applicator because that was a good way to cut back on at least some of the waste. I also did start using disposable pads again because I just hadn't had great luck with reusable pads in the past. At that point, as I was adjusting to the IUD, which also did cause heavier bleeding for a while there, it was just easier for me to use disposables. And I also had kind of fallen out of love with the Thinx period underwear, which I'll explain more about that as well. But now that I've had my IUD for a while and I've adjusted to it, my periods have also kind of leveled out a little bit. When I first got it, they were heavier, like much heavier than I was used to. They're still a little bit heavier and longer than they used to be, but it's quite manageable now. So I've been wanting to get back into more of a low waist period routine now that I feel like I'm ready. So I was really excited when the brand Hannah reached out to me and asked if I would like to try some of their reusable products, and I thought this was the perfect opportunity for me to kind of dip my toe back into the world of reusables, and I have absolutely fallen in love with specifically their underwear, their Hannah Sense underwear, and their cloth pads, which I never thought I would see the day where I actually liked cloth pads, but here we are. So I do want to say thank you to the brand Hannah for sponsoring today's video. They are such a cool company. I highly recommend checking them out. I'm going to share a little bit more about my reusable routine with their products. And even though this video is sponsored and they did gift me all of the items I'm going to talk about today, I ended up loving their products so much that I actually went and bought 2 more pairs of their Hannah Sense underwear for myself because I just love them that much. So Hannah makes a bunch of different menstrual care products. They do offer menstrual cups, which I do have one to show you today. Even though I am not able to use it myself, I will probably see if a friend wants this. So the cup comes in this really cute little pouch, and this is the small size. They do also have an extra small and a medium. I like how they have ridges here on the stem to help you grip it, but right above that they have these little kind of nubbins to add a little bit more grip so that when you pinch to remove, you have a little bit more to grip onto than just the stem. So I thought that was nice. I would say texture-wise, it's kind of like medium firmness. It's definitely not super hard, but it's also not quite as squishy as, say, the Salt cup. So that is the menstrual cup. They also make cloth pads, and I have 3 sizes here, but they come in 6 different sizes. This is a size small, which is great for lighter days. Then the medium size, this is kind of like the size of a standard, like regular pad, I would say. And of course they all have wings because these little wings actually wrap around your underwear and snap into place. So that's how that works. And the small size, I thought this was really smart. They actually have 2 snaps on here, so you can have it a little bit looser or tighter. I'm guessing the tighter option would be good if you wanted to wear this with a thong. That way it just kind of is a little bit more snug around that type of underwear. So that's really cool. And then I also have their overnight heavy cloth pad, which is great for overnight or just heavier days. Oh, and the patterns on these are so beautiful. I mean, that's one thing that you don't get with disposable pads is adorable patterns. So they've got this really colorful floral pattern. I would say my favorite, obviously, is the one with cats on it. This one has, looks like little cheetahs on there. So cute. And then another floral pattern. They have tons of other patterns on their website as well. Also, another thing to add is on their website, if you see the ones that say extra grip on them, those have little kind of grippies on them. You know, like slipper socks, how they have little grips on the bottom? That's kind of what this material feels like. It just has these little grips on them, and that helps to keep it in place in your underwear. So that's one thing about cloth pads is, of course, unlike disposables, they don't have an adhesive on the back. But I thought that was brilliant that they have these with the extra grip in case you struggle with your cloth pads like slipping around. So those are the HannahPads. They are made of organic unbleached cotton, which I think is great. A lot of cloth pads are made of like a fleece material or like a flannel, and a lot of times those can just feel really hot and like stifling almost, but these feel very breathable to me. So let's talk about how to clean these, because that was one of my biggest questions. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering about it as well. So just take a look at these. This is an off-white fabric, and I wore these pads on some of my heaviest days for my most recent period, and you can't even tell. There's no staining. I'm actually amazed. But the brand Hannah has a really great section on their website about how to properly clean these, and if you order them, it does come with a little brochure as well that walks you through the process. But I followed that process exactly how they laid it out, and I was able to get them super clean. And to me, the best thing about these is the fact that the cloth material is white, because I can see if I'm getting it clean. I can see if I've gotten all of the remaining blood out of there. So what they say to do is when you're done wearing it, to rinse it under cold water. That's the key, is cold water, because hot water can cause stains to set very quickly. So cold water, rinse it under the faucet, and just keep squeezing it out until the water runs clear, until there's no more residual blood coming out. Then what you want to do is take just any laundry soap. I like to use the Dr. Bronner's bar soap. They also sell a bar soap on their website that's specifically made for cleaning these, or any other kind of hand washing laundry soap that you have will also work. But you just want to lather it up, and I will fold the pad in half and kind of just get it all nice and sudsed up. Then I'll often rinse it again, just rinse all of that out, and then lather a little bit more on. And then you want to fold it in half and soak it for 1 to 2 days or longer. If you're soaking it for longer, you just want to make sure to change out the water every day. So what I'll do is just throughout my period, I'll just keep that tub in the bathroom with my pads soaking in them like this, and I'll usually also add a splash of vinegar in there as well. Just white vinegar is great for just kind of killing any odors. I also do pretty much the same thing with the period underwear, which I'll talk about more in just a second, but I just keep the pads and underwear in that tub. I'll change out the water each day, and then once I'm ready to do a load of laundry, I will just toss them all in with my laundry, and they come out super, super clean. So I'm so happy with these. That my biggest issue with a lot of cloth pads in the past was just not feeling like they got totally clean, but I love that they have this specific method. They say that you can either hand wash these pads. They do recommend hand washing them, or you can put them in a washing machine, which is what I do. For me, like if there's an option to put it in the washing machine, that's what I'm gonna do, because I don't really like to hand wash things. So really that whole process of just like rinsing them, adding the laundry soap, and then soaking them, it only takes like 5 minutes max. So those are the cloth pads. For me, pads, whether it's cloth pads or disposable pads, that's kind of my around the house period go-to. But when I'm going out in public, I do prefer something else, just because any pad just feels a little bit bulky to me when I'm out and about. So what I like to do is I'll typically wear the pads around the house or just at night. And then if I'm out and about, or I want something that I can wear for like a longer period of time, enter the period underwear. So I've been a fan of period underwear for a while. Like I said in the past, I was using Thinx, and I feel like Thinx just kind of went downhill there. I used to love their underwear so much. I swore by it, wore it all the time, but a couple of things kind of made me fall out of love with them. First, I realized that they weren't getting clean. Like, they just weren't getting clean. I don't know how else to say it. Their cleaning instructions basically just said to rinse and then put it in the washing machine. So that's what I did all along. And then probably like a few months to a year into using them, after I had taken them out of the washing machine, I thought they were clean. I rinsed them under cold water with like some Dr. Bronner's soap, and a ton of blood came out, like a ton, and I had thought they were clean. So I basically just went on like a cleaning rampage with my Thinx underwear, and I was scrubbing them with Dr. Bronner's soap, squeezing them all out, and realizing that they all had like a ton of blood in them. I know that might sound super gross. I was super grossed out, and so yeah, I ended up just buying some new ones, and then the new ones I got, they started falling apart really quickly. So after that point I was like, you know what, I just don't think period underwear is for me. I ended up just using the newer Thinx that I had as like just a backup with tampons, so I wasn't bleeding heavily into them. I didn't have to worry so much about getting them super clean. But anyway, so that's kind of been my journey with period panties up until this point. And so I've been testing out the Hannah ones, really loving them so far. Like the pads, they have a light colored lining, so you can kind of see through that top layer too. So if there's more blood sitting beneath that top layer, you can see it. So I was able to really get these clean, being able to see what I was working with, whereas with the Thinx underwear that I used in the past, the lining is black, so you just can't really tell. Like, you can't tell if you're rinsing it all out. It's just harder to know if they're getting clean. So that's kind of the biggest thing for me with these, because that was my main hang up with period panties in the past, is just not feeling like they were getting truly clean. And the method for cleaning the Hannah Sense underwear is pretty much the same as the pads. So I'll rinse it out first, make sure I get all the blood out that will come out, then I'll lather it up with some Dr. Bronner's bar soap. I'll usually give it a nice little scrub like this. I'll kind of fold that part and just like rub it together, lather it up, squeeze it out. Usually a little bit more blood will come out at that point. And then once that water runs clean, then I will lather on more Dr. Bronner's soap, fold it up, and place it in the tub of cold water and vinegar. And then after that, once they had soaked for a couple days, I threw them into the washing machine and they came out perfectly clean. For these, they say that you can put them in the dryer on low heat, which is what I did, and they came out great. The pads, I did decide to hang dry. I didn't put these in the dryer. They do on their website, actually, it does say that you can put these in a low heat dryer as well, but it seems like for the pads especially, they do recommend just letting them either line dry, either put them out in the sun, or just hang them up to dry inside. So that's what I did. And they do have several different styles and levels of absorbency with these Hannah Sense panties. So the ones that I have are the light brief. The light brief, they say, is good for moderate flow, and they say it has the absorbency of 8 regular tampons or 3 super tampons. So really quite absorbent. And with this underwear, by the way, the thing I like about this is I can wear it all day. Like, I don't have to, unless my flow is really heavy, then I might change it like halfway through the day. So for me, like for a light flow day, I could wear this all day and really doesn't accumulate any sort of odor. And I like these especially for wearing for longer periods of time because they don't feel wet like a pad does, you know? The material on top, and really the same with the cloth pads too, these don't feel anywhere near as wet and like diaper-like as a disposable pad, because this material doesn't allow a ton of moisture to sit on top of it, you know? So it feels a lot more comfortable than disposables, in my opinion. So that is the light brief, and then I do have their heavy brief in the tan color, and this one is said to be good for moderate to heavy flow. They say it holds the equivalent of 16 regular tampons or 6 supersized tampons. So this is the kind of thing that I could wear all day long on a heavy day and not get any leaking. I wore pretty much exclusively this underwear and their cloth pads all throughout my last period, and my period lasts like a good 7 days. So I gave it a good test run. I didn't have a single leak at all throughout the period. Even there were some times where I was like, oh my gosh, like it is flowing right now into this underwear. Surely it's gonna leak, and it didn't. It all stayed contained in there. So, and with the heavy brief, you can kind of see where that seam is there. That is where the absorbent layer goes up to. So these are good for overnight. If you're laying down, you know, sometimes things can travel. So I like that that absorbent layer goes all the way back. And then the third pair of the Hannah scents that I have is their high-waisted one. And this one is meant for heavy flow. This would be a great one for overnight. They say that this one holds, again, 16 regular tampons or 6 super tampons. And with the high-waisted one, the absorbent material, again, goes all the way up the back. This one is great for sleeping. I really like that it has this kind of mesh in the side. So even though they are high-waisted, I still feel like it just gives them a little bit of a sexy element, you know? I feel kind of cute and sexy in these. So this is the kind of thing that I will happily wear out and about or around the house. They're super comfy. And for me, the best part is just how easy they are to clean. This is like, I'll go ahead and show you. I wore these on some of my heaviest flow days. This is the pair that I wore on my heaviest day. This is what the inside looks like. You can see just the slightest bit of discoloration there. I wouldn't even go so far as to call that a stain. I think some level of discoloration is inevitable with reusable period products. And as far as sizing goes, I have a size small in all of these. They say to size up, and I'm usually between a size extra small and small, so I just went with small. And I would describe the fit of these as comfortably snug. They're snug enough that they're going to stay in contact with my body. They're not going to be like too loose or baggy or anything, but they're not too tight either. They're just like the right fit. And these again are made with the unbleached organic cotton. It's certified by the FDA. Oh, and I do also want to say with every pair of underwear and with each set of pads, you get a little carrying pouch. So you could take this with you on the go if you anticipate needing to change while you're out and about. You could use this as kind of a wet bag if you wanted to, and then wash it when you get home. So I just thought that was a nice touch. I feel like most brands I've seen don't usually come with something like this, and that's just included in your order. So I think it goes without saying, my personal favorite in the Hannah line is the Hannah Scents underwear. I'm just a big fan of the concept of period underwear. I think it's so nifty and convenient, and it just kind of makes me forget that I'm on my period. And I actually did order with my own money 2 more pairs of the underwear. I ended up getting the thong and the cheeky just to have for lighter days, along with these heavier flow options, so really excited to get those. I think they're going to be here in time for my next period, so that's something to look forward to. So that's what my kind of realistic low waist period routine is now. It's definitely by no means zero waste because I do occasionally use a tampon or a disposable pad. If I'm just busy or traveling, you know, sometimes you just need the convenience of a disposable product. I think it's okay to admit that. But this is a great way for me to reduce my waste overall. And also, I do want to mention they do sell disposable organic cotton pads. So I did give these a try as well, and these are really nice. I have here the regular, large, and overnight. And you can see here, these are super thin, which I really like. It's just more comfortable than a really like thick disposable pad. And I do have to say these feel a lot more comfortable and breathable than most disposable pads that I've used. Like the material itself is very soft and breathable. So really like those, definitely something to check out. So that is my updated low waist period care routine. I was definitely due for an update since my last video on this topic. So that's what I'm using now. For me, having this balance between using reusable products like 80% of the time and disposables the other 20% of the time. This way, it's just a little bit more flexible for me, and truly this is more sustainable for me in the long run to be able to maintain a good balance between reusables and disposables rather than just doing all reusable all the time. And I just think it's important to remember it doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing. If you don't feel like you can go all reusable, there's a middle ground, you know, you can do both, you can do a little bit of everything. And I would say if you're wanting to start incorporating more reusables into your routine, just slowly build up your collection. You don't have to buy a huge set of cloth pads or a ton of pairs of underwear to start out. You can just start with 1 or 2 and see how you like them, and then slowly build up your collection as you discover what you do and don't like. So if you do decide you want to try the Hannah products, I would recommend looking for any of their BOGO deals. They have a lot of buy one get one on both their pads and their Hannah Scents underwear, so you can often get 2 for the price of 1. And they did also give me a discount code for you guys. Sarah Rose will get you an additional 10% off of those BOGO items, so great way to try it out if you don't want to spend the full price. These things can get pricey, so that's why I do recommend just starting slow and just kind of see what you like and then slowly build up your collection from there, because everyone is different. Everyone's going to have different preferences. But I think that is everything I have for you today. I am just so happy to finally have some reusable products that I like using, that I don't dread using. I just find these super fun and easy to use. I love the cute patterns. I love the just soft, breathable cotton. I just think they're doing a great thing over there at HannahPad. So check them out if you are in the market for some reusable products. And a big thank you to HannahPad for sponsoring today's video. If you guys do want to check them out, I'll have their website linked down below, and the discount code is Sarah Rose if you do want to take advantage of that. But thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. I usually post videos about makeup, but occasionally I like to venture off and talk about other topics as well. So I'd love to have you stick around, and otherwise I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you very soon in my next video. Bye.